We are now into the month of August, and we have a ton of fantastic games releasing this month. Of course, it is that time again where Xbox have dropped the Xbox Game Pass offering for the start of August, and there are some lovely titles for us to look forward to. With that, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation, and let's dive into the 17 games coming to Xbox Game Pass, and there's plenty that you won't want to miss. First up and out as of today is the incredible indie game known as Rain World, and you might remember this one as I did rave about it in our sales videos a couple of months back now. This is a brutal but beautiful survival platformer where you play as a vulnerable little slug cat trying to survive a harsh, decaying world that's full of predators and deadly downpours. What really makes Rain World so special though is its really emergent gameplay, its haunting atmosphere, and also the intelligent ecosystem where every creature does behave unpredictably. It can be quite a tough experience from time to time, but that challenge makes every small victory feel massive. If you haven't tried it yet, now is absolutely the time to do so. Trust me, it's one of the most unforgettable indie experiences out on the market, and now it's on Xbox Game Pass, you need to dive into it as of today. Of course, you may be aware, but Farming Simulator 25 is available right now on Xbox Game Pass as it actually dropped a couple of days ago. If you know me, you know that I've got quite a soft spot for this series, as there's just something so satisfying about building up your dream farm from the ground up. The latest entry did take everything that all of us fans loved from the originals and cranks it up with brand new stunning visuals, new crops, improved animal systems, and even expanded maps that feel more alive than ever before. This is the kind of game that completely hooks you with its depth and chilled gameplay, and you will spend way too many hours like me stuck within this gaming world. If you've never tried the series before, now's the perfect time to jump in, and I tell you what, you will be stuck on this one for hours upon hours. Arriving this week is Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I'm always happy to see another Assassin's Creed title drop into Xbox Game Pass, as I'm a massive lover of this franchise. On the 7th of August, you can actually buckle up and dive into the streets of Baghdad as Basim as he joins the Assassin Brotherhood. This entry was actually quite a lovely surprise for me, even though the admittedly over-the-top power moments were pretty drastic. Mirage did bring the series though back to its roots with a tighter focus on stealth, classic parkour, and story-driven missions that do feel like a true nod to the earlier days of this franchise. The world still is pretty rich, atmospheric, and perfect for silent takedowns in the crowded streets. If you've been waiting for a more traditional Assassin's Creed experience, then this one is certainly one to try, even though it still has some of those modern Assassin's Creed tropes and quirks that some of you don't really love. If you're a Madden fan, then you might be eagerly anticipating the release of Madden NFL 26 this week, and if you're a Game Pass Ultimate member, then you have an awesome perk for this August. As of the 7th, you can dive into Madden 26 on day 1 thanks to a 10-hour trial courtesy of EA Play, so you can in essence try it before you buy it. I will mention it for a final time, but I'm not an American football fan, and even with someone trying to explain the game to me, I still get confused about all the tactics, touchdowns, and more. In this one though, there has been quite a lot of hype surrounding the new coaches, improvements to pitches and weather, and also a huge shake-up to the players and also scouting elements. If you are a fan of this series, I'm keen to hear your thoughts on this one, and if you want to try it, then it's well worth diving into it with your trial on the 7th of August. Man, I'm a huge fan of the Aliens franchise, and I'm so glad that we saw a resurgence of awesome Alien games over the past few years. One of those awesome games is also delving onto Xbox Game Pass this month, and that is Aliens Fireteam Elite. This co-op third-person shooter pits you and your friends against waves of xenomorphs across various missions. There's lots of class systems, tons of weapons for you to upgrade, and loads of different enemy types for you to fight, and no two missions here ever feel the same, and they can get pretty bloody difficult, especially on the highest difficulties. It's a thrilling ride, especially if you're playing with your friends and coordinating your strategies, and it truly shines though when you're trying just to stay alive. So if you're a fanatic of the Aliens universe, or you just want to squash some bugs in intense scenarios with your friends, then you can dive into this one on the 12th of August. Many of you have already probably played Hellblade 2 at this point in time, and I really don't blame you since the game launched all the way back in May of last year. Well, if you haven't had a chance to explore Senua's mind, or want to dive into it now that we have a 60 FPS mode, then you'll need to check out the Enhanced Edition on the 12th of August. This new edition is replacing the base game on Game Pass, and gives us some more developer insight insight with about 4 hours of behind the scenes footage, an extensive and awesome looking photo mode, and also the long awaited and, as I mentioned, the 60 FPS mode. Do be warned though, this is currently available for the Xbox Series X, so all of you Xbox Series S users will still be stuck at 30 FPS. Even so, it's a nice little package and might be worth checking out, especially if you've never tried Hellblade 2 before. I swear, anytime that I look at Xbox Game Pass, we always have a brand new roguelike, and this new wave of games for August proves that yet again. Nine Kings joins the Xbox Game Pass library, and it's essentially a fast-paced roguelike kingdom builder. In this strategy roguelike, you need to defend your kingdom from the attacks of other kingdoms out there, and to do that, you have to use your cards to place buildings that either generate units to fight for you, or towers that can decimate enemies from afar. Even though Nine Kings is a roguelike with cards, it is not a deck builder roguelike. There is no deck here, but it still has the common synergies between combination of kingdoms and such, and it's incredibly fun. If you are on PC, then you're going to have an absolutely great time with this one, as it's currently a PC only title for Xbox Game Pass this August. In a pleasant twist, we have now had the confirmed release date for an upcoming Xbox Game Pass title. Herdling was first unveiled last year, and it actually marks the first fully 3D project from the talented team behind Far Lone Sails and Far Changing Tides. This atmospheric single-player journey puts you in charge of guiding a herd of inquisitive cattle through a beautifully desolate world. You will be exploring towering mountain ranges, misty forest and snow-covered plateaus, and also some long abandoned valleys. But this game isn't all about the scenic views. The environment is said to be full of hidden threats and tough strategic decisions that will test your instincts at every turn. The best part though, Herdling launches onto Xbox Game Pass on the 21st of August, and it's available to preload right now. Of course, many of you will really be excited for this next release when it drops onto Xbox Game Pass at the end of August. Gears is back, baby, and we're seeing the new Gears of War Reloaded on our Xbox Series consoles, and it's bringing Marcus and the gang into the 4K 120 FPS era, and it looks bloody brilliant. This is a full remaster of the original entry, so you can expect things like better visuals, overhauls in the multiplayer, and all of the DLC right out the gates. We did actually see this with the Ultimate Edition, which was already in Xbox Game Pass, but we never got the 4K 60 FPS updates as it was locked to 1080-30 for so bloody long. I do still wish that we got a Gears 2 or 3 remaster or even a remake, but one could keep dreaming at this point in time. Even so, if you want some Gears goodness, then get ready for the end of August. As with any new wave of Xbox Game Pass games, we have some games actually joining the Xbox Game Pass standard tier on the 6th of August, and there are some lovely games for you to dive into if you're part of this tier. First up is Citizen Sleeper 2, and this was the much anticipated follow-up to the acclaimed original. This narrative-driven RPG drops you into a rich sci-fi world where you're once again living on the edge of a crumbling space society. With its deep character writing, tense decision-making, and a hauntingly atmospheric setting, it really is a must-play for any of you who sort of love story-heavy, choice-based experiences. If you enjoyed the first game, this one promises to expand that universe in some really compelling ways. Next up is my personal favourite, and easily one of the best indie titles of this year so far, and it's known as Lonely Mountain Snow Riders. This one builds on a chill yet challenging bike sim, but with a brand new twist, snowy terrain, slippery slopes, and fresh trails for you to master. The serene nature vibes are still there, but now you've got to balance your speed and control through icy descents. The multiplayer is a bloody blast as well, as you try to get to the end of the mountains before everyone else. Then there's MechWarrior 5 Clans, which made waves when it joined Xbox Game Pass Ultimate earlier this year, and now it's coming to the standard tier. This one's for all of you mech fans, as there's massive combat robots, tactical squad-based gameplay, and intense missions across war-torn planets. If you're more into sort of customization, heavy firepower, and strategic warfare, this is a standout title. It's also said the story mode is absolutely great and it has a lot of depth and action, so it might be well worth diving into if you have the standard tier. Finally, we've got Orcs Must Die Death Trap, and this is a thrilling mix of tower defense and action combat built for co-op chaos. You and your friends will basically take on endless waves of orcs by laying traps, defending fortresses, and unleashing all kinds of different mayhem. It's very fast, frantic, and just plain fun, although I do prefer the mainline entries. It's still a pretty nice addition for Xbox Game Pass, especially if you've been looking for one of those sort of brain switch off kind of experiences. In case you missed it though, we did have a couple of Xbox Game Pass shadow drops that landed onto the service in late July and into early August. Right now, you can play the excellent snow and mountain board indie known as Descenders Next, and this has been a massively impressive entry due to the fun that occurs throughout my experience. experiences. You then have He Is Coming, and this is a roguelike RPG auto-battler where your goal is to strike down the Demon King and his legion of minions. This one is only available on PC Game Pass currently, but it's certainly worth diving into if you get the chance. Later this month, we are also seeing the reveal of Black Ops 7, and this is due to take place on the 19th of August at Gamescom Opening Night Live. While several sources have teased a reveal date earlier, it is now officially confirmed that both the campaign and the multiplayer modes will be shown off at this event. But what caught me off guard was one surprising detail from the official post made as of today. Most of the Black Ops reboot games have had a male character on the front cover, but this time we might be getting a female lead as the face of the game. I am curious to hear what you think about this post, and are you excited about Black Ops 7? Or if you're like me, you're probably more interested in Battlefield 6. Either way, you'll have to let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Before we wrap up today though, we do have 3 games leaving Xbox Game Pass in the middle of August, so definitely make sure you jump into them before they go, or use your membership discount to get 20% off your purchase to keep these games in your library forever. So the games leaving on the 15th of August are Anthem, Farming Simulator 22, and a pretty large one in Persona 3 Reload. I think it's a pretty big bummer that we're losing Persona 3 Reload, as that game is utterly fantastic, and I recommend that you dive into it as soon as possible. So what Xbox Game Pass game are you looking forward to this August? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. Remember to like this video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe for more Xbox content along with Xbox Game Pass news, reviews, and so much more every single day. Whilst you're here though, why don't you check out the video on screen now, as I covered the 10 things you must know about Battlefield 6 before this lands later this year.